of course, there used to be a convocation where we also bestowed upon degrees, like you have been bestowed a postgraduate degree today. But the formality and the fun of your parents being around when you were graduating was missing at my time. You know, it was more formal, a larger number of students, and the pleasure of graduating and getting a postgraduate or a degree, wearing the British, the colonial vestiges, the big round of applause to the parents. And somewhere during the degrees when they were being given out, I was remembering my parents, when I had passed out. And how delighted I would have been if my mother and father, who actually sold their gold to pay my fees, and that is where, we have to go back of who we are. And Professor Singla, stone against which you want to check it out, jisko kasauti bolte hain Hindi mein, is your parents. So always live your life out of, getting it vetted, getting it approved from your parents. And I'm sure your parents have put in their blood and sweat to give you the education you got today. And going forward, if you talk about the motherland, the country, your state, maybe your city, or maybe your community where you come from. And if you can relate with your community, your city, the city of destiny, Visakhapatnam, your state, Andhra Pradesh, a new state, or your country, India, it's like your mother. How would that entity, is it acceptable? Would the city of Visakhapatnam like you to litter and dirty the city? Would you like to pay your taxes in Visakhapatnam? If the city is giving you so much, are you willing to give a cigarette? And so I used to sit in the factory, actually checking the cigarette packets, which would convert into a packet to see that they were top quality. So even as an MBA, we used to laugh. MBA meant much below average. So MBA was quite a big leveler. So if you're an MBA, you must proudly tell yourself you're actually much below average. So you should be, you should level yourself, go back on the field. So that was the MBA anyway I grew up with. So you would be put right in the shop floor, in the factory, and you were dirtying your hands. And I would stand at a cigarette shop, actually standing with a chart. We didn't have iPads or anything, and actually doing customer survey and watching whether the cigarette shopkeeper is keeping the packets. So the packet that is moving the fastest is kept closest to him, and the cigarette's not selling is, so retail, looking at buyer behavior, that was very granular to stand on his side. Otherwise you would, quickly, just splash a little bit of the katha when he was making the pan. So that was a kind of MBA after we passed out, actually come across. You might have great commitment, but you can't convey it out. You might be very brave inside, but your behavior doesn't say so. You don't look people in the eye when you talk to people, and you think that you're a very straight guy, but your eyes will reveal it all. So take action. Be trained in conveying who you are. So going back to continuous education, and like an alumni, continuously come back to this institute and get your behavior corrected. Education, knowledge, you don't need, you can Google, and within seconds you are as well connected to all the knowledge out there in the world. Attitude, again, makes no difference. So behavior, my friends, is going to be watched. You step into a company, in 30 seconds, that employer will take a decision whether they want to hire you or they don't want to hire you. So I'm going to stop because my 14 minutes is over. I was allotted 15 minutes today. So in 84, when I got transformed, if I may say, I took the UPSC exam. First attempt I got into income tax, and in the second attempt, I stood second all India. And at that time, I was so scared of even writing the UPSC because I did not want to fail. So I was managing my life out of an avoidance strategy that what I really wanted I was not doing. It took me critical 3 years to open up, and I got into the IAS. I got Rajasthan cadre, and I joined in 86. Before that, 84, I was in income tax. And since then, every day in my life, I'm discovering there are so many things that I want to do, but I'm scared of failure. And I remind myself, go back and take action. So my friends, your journey is about really taking action, whatever you want to do. It's all possible, from a doer to a strategy guy, to an outsourcing guy, to what Dr. Singla said.
मुझे